Good morning, everyone. Day 17 Hormone Bootcamp. So, today I'm gonna start wrapping up a little bit more on nutrient deficiencies, what we actually need, what we're lacking, and basically going to start prepping you for next week. So, let me start out with this because there's a couple of things that I've talked about that I've shared, and I want to remind everyone this is Hormone Bootcamp. This program is designed to help you produce hormones and balance hormones. Okay, there's two different things. So pay attention to every single lesson. If you need to go back and rewatch the videos, go back and rewatch the videos. Even if you're participating live, I have the replay. If you go back to the registration page, I have the link in the description of this live video. You can register and you can watch the replay videos day by day because I know that I'm sharing a lot of information, and so it may take watching this information a couple of times, 3 times, 4 times. Trust me, I've read a lot about this stuff, and it took me a lot of repetition, especially when I was first starting, and I couldn't really focus very well, and my memory wasn't exactly serving me. But anyways, so nutrient deficiency. So one of the things that I learned earlier on that really started to change the way that I saw nutrition, the way that I thought about food and what was going on with me. For those of you who don't know my story and basically what started to trigger my changes, everything started to build up for me where I was starting to gain weight. I was starting to feel like brain fog, just fatigued all the time. My skin was getting dry. I was just basically feeling like crap. But it wasn't until really I was taking a shower and my hair was just falling off. It was basically way more than I thought would be normal, if I were to just consider it just aging. Because I thought I was just aging for everything else. I was like not feeling as energetic and things like that. And so for a while, I thought I was like, well, I guess this comes with age. And even hair loss, I thought even hair loss was going to come with age, but it was just way too much hair that I was like, no, there's something else wrong. Like, I don't know what it is, but there's something else wrong going on. And so as I look back and reflect on everything that was going on, basically what was happening to me at that point, aside from not understanding the importance of hydrating, mineralizing the body and all these nutrient deficiencies, I was having a lot of digestive issues. And so my body wasn't really digesting food properly. And so protein is the one that I'm going to focus on right now for today's topic. And the reason why protein was so important to understand, the importance of the body being able to digest protein. And really, the reason why, whenever people tell me that they are going gluten free and they think that they have a gluten problem, I look at them and I try to tell them, it's like, you don't have a gluten problem, you have a protein digestive problem. And if you have a protein digestive problem, your protein digestion problem, then chances are that you also have a protein building problem because hair, skin, like all these things, they don't just require your body to be able to digest protein, they also require your body to be able to build protein. Okay, we're protein building machines, essentially. That's what our bodies do. And so, what I didn't understand then, but basically, the big lesson was that when the body cannot digest protein, it needs amino acids to survive. Like that's like one of the main essential nutrients that you need. And if you're not digesting protein, then I don't care how much meat you eat. I don't care how much, whatever source of protein you're using. If your body can't digest it, it probably can't build it, and that's why it's not, um, you know, making hair. This basically why it's going through all these other things. One of them is that the adrenals, what they do is that they actually begin to release cortisol. And cortisol, the purpose of cortisol well, has multiple purposes, but one of them is that it breaks down muscle, and it breaks down muscle so that it can get amino acids, so that the body can have the amino acids it needs to function, to repair. I mean, amino acids are needed for example, for a thyroid hormone to convert it from T4 to T3. You need tyrosine, and that's an amino acid. That's the same amino acid that the body needs for your feel-good hormones, dopamine, serotonin, L-tryptophan is another amino acid. That's what the body needs to produce melatonin, right? And so that's the importance of those nutrient deficiencies. And if you're not digesting protein properly, then basically what the body does is that it releases so much cortisol that it ends up in adrenal fatigue. And when you have adrenal fatigue, you have basically excess cortisol in the body. So with the program so far, what I've essentially been helping you and walking you through, basically what I did was I started to understand, okay, I need to digest protein. Well, one of the first things that you need for any kind of digestion is water and minerals. That's like fundamental. That's just like 101 stuff. Yet most people don't even drink like that much water, let alone add minerals to it. And then second thing is, it's not so much that you need the minerals. I mean, you need the minerals, but it's really the bacteria and your gut flora that needs the minerals so that they can digest protein and they can actually build stuff, right? So that's basically what it's needed. And so you're going to actually start to see, I'm actually going to be doing a live, the diet workshop number 3 tomorrow. And I have a really good submission that I got, that is going to help me explain like a different side, a different aspect of diet. Because most people, when they think about diet, they only think in terms of like macros, like carbs, proteins, and fats. But there's other ways to look at food, and so hopefully that's going to help me clear that up. Um, so I'm going to go over that. But here's the other thing. So once you understand that, okay, you are now learning to digest, and your bodies are essentially now getting the nutrients that it needs. You're starting to learn what are some of those nutrients that you actually need from food, so that you know where to get them from. Because it's not just, like I said, it's not just protein, carbs, or fats, right? You're starting to learn that you need minerals, and you're starting to learn which kind of minerals you need. You need manganese, zinc, copper, selenium, folate. You need your vitamin B12s. So all of these nutrients that I'm mentioning, right, these are the ones that you're getting this week through the beef organs. And if you're not getting them through, beef organs, if you're plant-based, and you need to learn how to get them through your plant-based foods like vitamin B12, iron, and some of these other ones I get from blue-green algae, right? And that's why I drink, blue-green algae if I am on a plant-based. I'll show you right here. I don't know if I'm able to get to it in time, but I'm doing ketogenic this week, and then as always, I have my blue-green algae, right? Because I'm being plant-based. If I wasn't being plant-based, if I was just doing the beef organs, I wouldn't need to do the blue-green algae. But because I am, weaning myself off of meat, that's why I do the blue-green algae, because that's where I'm getting my nutrients from, right? Coenzyme Q10, right? So these are basically the nutrients that you need. Now, here's the thing. You can start feeding your body all these things, and next week what we're going to start doing is we're going to start doing the green juice and the probiotics. And so essentially, if you look at it, the beginning is we're basically building up, where you're basically giving your body what it needs. You're getting the actual nutrients, and the whole reason behind it is because when we start getting into week number 4 and number 5, when we start to actually detox, now we're starting to remove toxins. Now we're starting to eliminate things. That is going to be work, right? When you start to remove toxins from your body, trust me, you're going to feel those toxins. And so basically the whole idea of building up for it is that you need to be strong, because otherwise, I mean, toxins basically, they make you weak. That's basically what they do. That's why they drag you down. That's what's making you feel tired and fatigued. That's what's making you gain weight. And so trying to flush that out that is going to be essentially, somewhat of a fight. And if your vitamin D levels are low, if you're not getting the nutrients, and if you're not hydrated, it's going to be that much harder. And that's why I structured the program this way, where I'm building you up so you have the strength to go through the next few protocols. One of them will be like fasting. For example, most people are too afraid of fasting. I know most will, I don't want to say most will never try it, because I really want everyone to try it. But that's the thing, is that when you start to fast, if you're not hydrated, if you don't have, if your vitamin D levels are low, if you don't have the right nutrients in your diet, if you're not feeding yourself right, if you're not nourishing your body, then fasting is going to be that much harder, because you're going to get hungry. You're going to, feel that, that hunger, all the emotions like hangry kind of emotions, they're going to be that much stronger. But the more you hydrate, the more you boost your vitamin D levels, the more you actually nourish your body, the more you're actually going to feel like fasting is actually not that bad. And if anything, like, it actually makes you feel better. You'll feel it energizes you. It activates glutathione. That's basically the master antioxidant of the body. It's basically like the cleaner of the body. And you're just going to start to feel better and better and better. But again, you need to build up for it. And that's why, these first 3 weeks are super important, that you follow everything and use them, and use these 3 weeks as a tool, so that as you begin to, fast into your probiotics and begin to remove all of these toxins from your body, if you ever feel like it's too much, like you're maybe feeling too weak or feeling nauseous or anything like that, step back, continue to hydrate, continue to nourish your body, continue to boost your vitamin D levels, and then go back at it. And that's basically what we're going to be looking forward to. So there's all of that, and then last, okay, this is super important, because I can teach you how to produce hormones, but at the end of the day, you still need to learn how to balance out hormones. And so balancing out hormones, there's the physical side. Week 5, that's basically what we're going to cover. That's where Ayurvedic herbs are going to come in, adaptogens, that's where that's going to come in. But back to cortisol, right? If you have your diet figured out, if you have it all dialed in, and your adrenals are back to normal, they're not stressed out, you're not losing your hair because of lack of protein, digestion issues or anything like that, that's all fine and dandy. But then you have regular life stressors, right? There's always stuff that's going on. If you notice, the sign in the back of the car, I'm driving a loaner car, my car is still having issues, right? There's crap that happens all the time that stresses you out. There's work, there's relationships, there's finances, there's things that's going to stress you out. And I think that one of the like I said, one of the things about me putting together this program is I want to like share everything that I do. I don't want to just talk about diet, because that's not everything that I do. I talk about my morning routines. I hydrate first thing in the morning, and then I do my gratitude journal. And I've said this over and over, and I don't know how many people are taking me up on it. And I'm almost to the point where I think I need to like put together a mini workshop on doing a gratitude journal, because I think that this is really what's going to help a lot of people eliminate stress from their lives. And so I'm going to actually look over that and see what I can do for that, because most people, they don't have a morning routine. Most people, they wake up and first thing they do is they listen to, they turn on the news. Maybe they listen to like talk shows, on the radio, and the information that they're basically receiving first thing in the morning is usually not positive information. It's not information that is painting positive images in your mind. Whereas for me, I do my gratitude journal because that's actually putting good positive images in my mind. It's not stressful. It's not things that like I don't need to put out fires first thing in the morning, right? I like to wake up and basically have like a slow morning. And then before I don't even watch news, actually, to be honest with you, because that's all you hear there is just negative stuff. If anything gets bad enough, trust me, you're going to hear about it. I mean, I get enough news from people talking about news at work. I don't need to basically put myself in that environment either. Your environment is so important. So, and I think that's where, if you watch the anxiety masterclass, that's basically what I was trying to share there, is that you need to learn to calm your mind and basically get rid of stress. If you haven't watched the anxiety masterclass that I did, I have the link in the description of this live video. Highly recommend it. I'm going to be doing a full series on that to basically help you guys really master that, because that's not something that you just do and it's not a one-time thing. This is like an everyday thing. Just like you feed your body, you have to feed your mind. And that's part of my, that's why Beer Diet Project is not just about health, but I now understand the importance of putting positive information into your mind, information that empowers you, that empowers people. And so my whole series behind that is going to be that, where I'm going to be giving you guys information that is not only going to help you for health, but also in other areas of your life. I think that with health, you're starting to see like the importance of some of these principles that I share. Consistency. About 17 people started this program, and I know that some people are falling behind, some people are getting ahead. That's good. Some people just completely dropped out of the map, and that's because that's a thinking pattern that we all have. And it wasn't until I started to recognize that, where, how many people do you know that start things, but they never finish them? And before they finish something, they basically start another project and then another project. And they have all these projects going on, but they're not used to finishing, right? That was a thinking pattern that I had to basically overcome. And the only way that I was able to overcome that was by getting around people who are used to basically completing, to finishing, who are committed. And that kind of information is because because I get around that environment. That's basically what I started to feed my mind. That's how I started to understand how all of that plays a role in basically how we function, right? One of the things you're going to see me talk about, and the reason why I am plant-based, is because I believe that the more that I improve my health, and the more that I, especially when I go plant based and start to feed my mind, the better that I learn to function. Something that I haven't really talked about much, but you might, you're going to hear me talk about it eventually, where our bodies, like the way that I see them now, the way that I'm starting to like understand it, is our bodies are essentially dreaming machines. And what that means is that in order for us to actually function, to do things, we first dream, we first see ourselves in our mind doing something, and then our bodies basically kind of get programmed and they act. So, how you learn to like use your hands, when you're growing up, you basically see other people do it, right? You emulate mom and dad, and then eventually you start to see yourself, doing this, and then you just dream it, and before you know it, now your body can actually do it. But you always see it in your mind first before you actually operate. As you begin to grow up, right, you start to take on skills like playing an instrument, right? Like I am right now, like I have a lot of projects going on, by the way. One of them is music. I'm relearning guitar and relearning mastery like of music. Master is kind of like my new topic. Like I'm trying to like master different areas of my life: health, music, just different things. Well, for music, it's the same way. I can sit there and practice, for hours, but what's actually going to help me more than just practicing for hours is actually visualizing, dreaming myself, watching myself in my mind, playing and mastering the instrument. And over time, that's basically what helps me do that. Now, most people will hear something like that and they won't even know what I'm talking about. But if you go listen to the masterclass and you watch the videos that I share in there, you're going to actually start to understand how the mind works, and how it actually affects everything else, in your life. So, um, that's I'm kind of rambling now, but I'm at work and I gotta get going. But hopefully, like you guys get a really good idea for like where like all the things that I'm trying to share with you. It goes beyond health. So I really hope that you guys are getting a ton of value from this. I really hope more than anything that you guys really see that what I'm putting together here is gonna go well beyond just health. Doing the diet workshop tomorrow. Trust me, I've spent so much money on, nutritionists and, going to see doctors for this, for that. I mean, trying to get like a food sensitivity test like $700 or whatever. And now, like, now that I understand all these topics, like, I'm hoping to save you guys all of that struggle and all of that, all the pain of going through all of that, and just basically handing you in a silver platter like everything that you just need to go through if you just basically follow everything, and just not just blindly follow, but I mean, take the information that I share here with you, research it on your own, and start to look into it. I mean, none of the things that I share, like, I share stuff from experience, right? So I can't make stuff up, like, I was a home brewer before this. That's why I understand, water, minerals, pH, temperature, bacteria, and yeast. And that's why I can go up against just about any doctor or functional medicine practitioner. I don't care who they are. And I probably know, I wouldn't say necessarily as much as them, because my knowledge is slightly different, but I have basically enough knowledge that I can help probably more people than a lot of them can, because I talk to a lot of them, and even though they have good information, I can tell that they don't fully understand digestion. They don't fully understand probiotics or bacteria and things like that. So, anyways, I'll leave that for later on, but I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.